Dr. Ben with Cornerstone Health here. Patients are often asking me what I do to keep my back feeling good. So let me show you.
So Dr. Ben presented to the office today mentioning that he has some thoracic stiffness, mid-spine stiffness, right hip stiffness, as well as left ankle stiffness. Right now we're just palpating, assessing Dr. Fergus to see how he's moving to the thoracic spine and lower back. Once we find that restriction, we're going to start with a standing adjustment. The reason why I chose this one, I prefer to do all my thoracic adjustments standing because it's a little bit more comfortable for the patient. The first one we worked on thoracic extension. The second one is another thoracic extension with a little bit of focus on the CT junction, which is the cervical thoracic junction. Got a good adjustment there. He said he's feeling much better through the thoracic region. From there, we're going to adjust the low back. It's based off our palpations, we found a little bit of restrictions in the low back. We're doing a side posture adjustment here. We're rolling the patient over, contacting the PSIS, SI joint, and low back joint. General contact to get the SI moving a little bit better, as well as the low back. After that adjustment, we're going to have Dr. Ben take his left shoe off so we can assess his ankle to see how he's moving. We're assessing the ankle joint, mortise joint, to see how it's moving. We did locate a restriction, so now we're just going to do a slight distraction to help open up that joint. We're also palpating the calcaneus for inversion and eversion, which was moving good, as well as his toes, which was moving good, and that's why we didn't have to adjust that region with the speeder board. Now we're going to be assessing his hip. He mentioned that he has some right hip tightness. We're doing a little scour test to see how the head of the femur is moving within the hip. He mentions that he has some pinching on the inner side of his groin when we're taking his leg through this motion. From here, we're going to try to open up those hip joints. The first adjustment we're doing is a posterior hip capsule adjustment. We're just applying quick impulses through the knee into the femur, which will translate into the hip to help kind of open up that posterior hip capsule. From here, we're going to have Dr. Fergus turn over and work on that same hip. This time we're going to be addressing the anterior, the front side of the hip capsule. By doing so, we're rotating his femur and leg into this position and using a broad contact on the back of the femur. Making sure it's comfortable for the patient, we're going to apply 30 impulses to help open up that anterior side, front side of the hip capsule to get his hips moving a little bit better. Finally, to see if we made an improvement, we're going to retest. He mentioned that he still had a little bit of stiffness in that right hip, however, he noted that the pinching pain in the inner groin was gone.